Welcome to class. Thank you so much for joining today. Thank you for Lizzie for organising this practice together, and thank you to whoever is joining. So before we get into the practice of yin, a couple of things that you might need to help you in the practice. So blocks can be super helpful. The practice is not like a vinyasa style practice where the body's using a lot of energy, the muscles are really active. The muscles are going to be switched off for the practice. So we would like the help of props. If you don't have a bolster, no stress, grab a couple of cushions from your bed, pillows, whatever works for you, and just keep them handy by your mat. They're going to be supporting the weight of the body so the muscles can completely switch off, giving you more time to focus on the breathing, relaxing the whole body, and paying particular attention to the pelvic floor. So before we get into the physical part of the practice, which is really slow, we're going to anchor the breath and we're going to start to deepen into the breath. So we're going to start on our backs today, if you're comfortable with that. If you're not comfortable laying flat, you can feel free to sit up instead, maybe cross the legs. But it can be nice to grab your cushions. Now your feet can go flat to the mat, or maybe raise the feet, bringing the knees in together and letting your body relax down into the mat. So take your time to find comfort here first of all. Maybe just moving the hips, allowing the weight of the pelvis to drop down. And then committing to some stillness of the body, placing one hand down on the belly and then one onto the sternum and the heart space. Take a moment to close the eyes down, a moment to relax the face and jaw. Let the head be heavy. And first of all, we'll just pay attention to the natural breath. Now, lots of different people might be feeling this breath in different spaces. We tend to reverse breathe using the upper portion of the chest. Today, we're going to see if we can breathe a bit deeper, finding our diaphragm breathing muscle. And the diaphragm and the pelvic floor have a close relationship. If you have a dysfunctional breathing pattern, it's likely that you might have a dysfunction in your pelvic floor. So first thing we'll do is connect to the diaphragm, our main breathing muscle. With the hand on the lower belly, we'll pay attention just to that hand to begin with. So first of all, release any tension from the jaw, the face, the hips, the belly. And as you breathe in and out through the nose, notice what moves for you. If you're feeling any rise and fall from the belly, maybe somewhere else on the body. And what we'll do first is try and only move that bottom hand with the breath. So relax the belly fully, let it go big. As you breathe in, the bottom hand starts to lift. And as you breathe out, that bottom hand moves in to the back. In down to the mat. We'll take a few more breaths like that. Just finding and establishing that breathing into the belly, the expansion, that rise and that fall. And what happens here as you take the air in, the lungs start to fill, the diaphragm presses down, and your pelvic floor stretches down at the same time from the pressure. Now, as you start to breathe out, the lungs empty, the diaphragm lifts up, and the pelvic floor moves back to its resting position. So find a few more breaths just like that for now. Belly focus, rise and fall, in and out through the nose, and relax the body. Now, after a few of them breaths, we're going to start to bring in that top hand. So as you breathe in, the bottom hand starts to fill. Now we're going to take the breath a bit fuller, sliding your right hand to your left ribs, left hand to the right ribs, forearm rest on the belly. Belly is soft, body relaxed, mind is calm. Now this time as you inhale, belly will lift, and we're going to pay particular focus to the ribs. As the air starts to rise, the ribs expand. When the ribs are fully expanded, let the breath go. And take that breath a few more times. Breathing in, feel the forearms rise. Feel the ribs widen in the hands. And as you breathe out, soften, relax. And we'll take a few more deep breaths just like that. Breathing all the way down to the base of the belly, in towards the ribs. Using the full use of your lungs. And as you focus on this breathing, we're going to now add one more step onto this. Your hands can stay as they are if that's comfortable, but instead of breathing just into the belly, we're going to take the breath down now into the pelvic floor. So as you start to breathe in, keep drawing the air all the way into the pelvis, into the belly, the side of the body, filling the chest last. And as you exhale, let the whole body go. Chest, ribs, belly, pelvic floor. And we'll do that a few times. Body relaxed. Breath is deep. Breathing into your pelvic floor. Downward and outward expansion. Filling into the belly next. Into the side body, widen. All the way up to the top of the lungs. And then exhale, release, let it go. And as you let that air go, the pelvic floor rises once again. Take a few more rounds, allowing the breath to relax both body and mind. With the inhale, the tummy softens, expands. The sit bones widen, soften, floating away from each other. The tailbone lengthens away from the pubic bone, and the pelvic floor muscles lengthen out. As you exhale, the tummy comes back towards the body. Sit bones come back to center. The tailbone returns towards the pubic bone, and the pelvic floor muscles come back inwards to the body. And stay with that breath throughout the practice, keeping awareness on the relaxing of the pelvic floor. And just begin to wriggle into your fingers, the toes, the tongue, and bring your knees into the chest, nice and slow. Start to become aware of what you're feeling down in that pelvis, the pubic bone, the hip space, as you start to drop your knees to the left and right. A little massage for your low back. And then with eyes closed, we'll take a roll to one side, and then we'll come to meet in what's called child pose. For this first posture, we want to take the knees wide. Feel free to grab a hold of your support. Knees as wide as the mat, heels drop down to the edges, and we walk the hands forward or back. So maybe some of you go with the head to the side. Maybe some of you decide to reach the arms forward. Head down. Wherever you need to be, you find that position. And the first few moments, we simply relax. We close down the eyes. We breathe deeply into the parts of the body we focused on. We let go of any holding within the hands, within the shoulders, within the back of the body, and the weight of the hips. This style of yoga is not about stressing the muscles, bringing in strength, burning through vinyasas. This practice is a lot slower, a lot more gentle. In yin yoga, instead of stressing the muscles, we bring about some stress to the fascia, the ligaments, the tendons, connective tissue. We focus on the lower portions of the body, these passive and longer holds, giving chance for the body to really release, let go of any tension, any stress. Throughout the practice, there will be these pockets of silence. And those pockets give you a chance to really drop down deeper with awareness into what you're feeling and what's alive for you today. Use these moments in each pose and treat them as a mini meditation. A meditation to relax your pelvic floor. Keep softening through the belly. Keep softening through the face. Keep releasing down towards the earth. And it is completely normal for your mind to be busy. It's the nature of the mind. And with these longer holds, that can be a really big challenge for most. So if you notice the mind gets loud, breathe louder than your thinking mind. And start to now wriggle into those feet, the toes, the fingers, and slowly begin to lift. So we'll come into deer pose. For that one, bring your legs into either 90-degree or maybe the left foot just touching that right thigh. We're going to get into the hip space with a twist. So placing your support by the left hip, right leg can go further back if it feels good. We're going to rotate the body towards the mat, and as you breathe out, we'll soften down and over. Now, the hips can be quite a tender area. If this feels too much with the twist, you can either stay lifted or even return back to center, depending on what your body needs the most. This is a great way to release the low back, release a lot of tightness through the hips, bringing more ease and relaxation, and encouraging the rest of those muscles to soften, to lengthen, and let go. So in your deer pose, drape the body over it. Relax into what you're feeling. Keep space for the belly to expand. Never hold that belly in. Yin yoga can be very therapeutic for people that suffer with hypertonic pelvic floor muscles, super tight, super tense. We start to access the deeper layers of the body here. And it's completely normal for thoughts to arrive, for emotions to be present, especially when we work with the hips, with the pelvis. In yoga, especially yin yoga, we have these 3 steps, these 3 checkpoints that we take to make sure we're not going beyond what feels good. The first step is always finding our edge, finding what feels good for your body. You want sensation, but not too strong. The second step is to completely surrender. That's why we use the props and support the weight of the body. So you can let go, the body can simply relax. And the third step is we marinate in this pose. We stay here for some time to let the magic happen. When you feel ready to wriggle into the feet, start to do that. Then when you feel ready to ease up, we'll do that. Roll whatever you have out the way and take a little roll onto our back, knees to chest. Place the left foot down flat. Place that right ankle just on the left knee. With the arms out to a T position or cactus, we're going to start to drop down that left knee, followed by the right knee. For some of us, that might be quite intense. If that's you, grab a hold of your props and you can rest the knee or rest the foot on the prop. Bring the floor a little bit closer, decreasing the sensation that you might be experiencing in the stretch. Wherever you need to be, you make those adjustments, supported, or maybe letting it go that little bit deeper. Breathing in as you twist the body. Allowing the right shoulder to stay grounded and encouraging that right hip to be where it needs to be. No forcing, no pushing, simply allowing. Find the breath again. Breathe deeply to the pelvic floor, the base of the belly. Expand through the ribs. Fill the lungs fully. And as you exhale, you let everything go. Face is soft. Eyes heavy. Breathing with awareness. Staying connected to the diaphragm. Because if we don't use it, we lose it. And the muscles have to be able to both relax and engage. And what we see a lot of the time, especially in women, hugging the belly in, constantly creating that tension through the pelvic floor, constantly squeezing or sucking in the core. Instead, can you let everything hang out? Can you encourage your belly to take up some space? Whenever you feel ready, wriggle the tongue, roll the hips back with the right knee into the chest. Give yourself a few breaths, just cradling the knee in and slightly out. Take a bend into the knees, window wipe side to side. Release the pelvis, let it relax. Find a deep breath in and out. And then take a little roll now onto your right side. As you slowly press up, we'll have your right knee out in front as we come to deer pose on the opposite side. So bolster, cushions or your mountains of pillows stacked beside the right hip. Rotate the body out towards it. Now you might feel in the hip space, if that's serving you, folding down over your support. And you might feel that this side's actually a lot tighter. So always treat each side uniquely. See what this side needs. If that's enough, be there. Close the eyes. Find the breath. Soften the belly. And seeing if you could lengthen out your exhales will naturally relax the body a bit more. In yoga, this is why we focus so much on the breath. The inhalation is naturally energizing. That's downward, outward expansion. Where your exhales are naturally relaxing. an inward and upward release. What happens is your inhalation responds to your sympathetic nervous system. So the branch of nervous system that allows you to find that fight or flight mode. That part of the nervous system that's responsible for cortisol, that stress hormone moving through the body, allowing you to tap into fight or flight. Now, when we exhale, the body will naturally relax. The nervous system switches to your parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest mode. The body's energy is used for healing, repairing, digestion. So keep on letting go. Keep slowing down the exhale. Stay connected to the diaphragm, the pelvic floor. And keep relaxing into that space. Just when you're ready to, begin to now wriggle the toes, the tongue, and start to gently ease out of that pose. When you're ready, take a roll onto your back, knees to chest, and then we'll place the left ankle on your right knee. Let both knees slide to the right. Whether you need more props, bring them in if you do. Whether that's a cushion underneath the left knee, underneath the right knee, wherever you need to be. Eyes closed. Body heavy. Breathing deeply and constantly relaxing. Left shoulder softens down, maybe into a blanket, maybe it's straight down onto the mat. I want you to check in what you're feeling. Where are you feeling it in the body? So maybe some strong sensations through the glutes. Could you perhaps release any conscious tension from that space? Maybe the low back. Keep letting go. Keep finding more ease. Simply notice if you might be holding the breath. Seeing if you could maybe feel the breath move into the pelvic floor. Beautiful. Wriggle the tongue, wriggle the toes. We'll take a little roll onto the back, left knee into the chest, right leg moves away, and then cradle that knee in and out. Couple of times, a little bit of movement. Allow that blood flow to increase. And then take a little window wipe with the knees, side to side. Once you've released the hips, reset the hips, bring both knees into the chest. Notice how it feels. And then we'll slide the knees down towards the armpits. Soles of the feet lift up to the sky. Now if you're quite tight, you'll catch behind the legs and keep that tailbone lengthening down and away. Maybe a little rock, a little release. If you are able to catch the feet, maybe the outside edges or maybe the fingers to the big toe. Let your elbows be heavy without force. You can pop a pillow underneath your tailbone if you need that, bringing an extra bit of support. And then completely relax the pelvic floor. Allow your head to relax neutral. Gradually, the weight of the elbows might take your knees further down, but just be where your body needs to be, without force, and inviting more ease. Eyes can be heavy in their sockets. Feel that tension melt away. We'll be here for around just 1 more minute. Throughout this minute, observe any sensations in the hips, the pelvis, the low back, the groin. Observe, notice, accept. All while using the breath to stay present and relaxed, body and mind. Really nice. So slowly bring the feet together, and you can either roll to one side or a little bit more active, rolling up into a seat. Knees wide. Now allow your knees to drop out to the edges, and with the help of your props, we're going to make a ramp. So you can bring a block just in front of your feet, and then bring your bolster right beside the hips. Drape the bolster over your block, making a ramp, and then option to bring the chest towards it, relax the body, and melt down. Now, people with tightness in the hips, the pelvic space, there might be a lot of tightness here. So cushions under the knees, if that's helpful. Some of you might go a little bit different to that. We might not use any props. You might not want to fold forward. So with your chest lifted, gravity doing its thing with the knees, this is more than enough. Be where you need to be. Each and every exhalation, we could soften. Mind goes inwards. Body stays relaxed and heavy. Eyes might remain closed. And you might start to feel the knees growing heavier, the hips starting to release, the lower back starting to open out, and any tension in the hip space completely melting as you give your body permission to release and to relax. Now, it never matters how bendy you are. What matters is that you're showing up, looking after your physical, your mental, your emotional bodies. And now we're moving into the last final posture. You can start to wriggle the toes as you lift. And then it will take the legs quite wide. So some of us might be legs bent like this. Some of us might go fully straight, wherever you need to be. There's never one size fits all in yoga, especially yin. So again, you can either make yourself a little ramp here to maybe bring your body over. Head can be down. I appreciate that this can be super tight on the hamstrings, the inner thighs, the abductors. So wherever you're feeling this, just modify. If you're feeling tightness in the knees, bend them. If you're feeling tightness in the hamstrings, don't go as wide. Tightness in the back, don't fold forward. Lots of different options. Find the one that you need, and we'll stay there for a few final minutes. Letting go. Relaxing deeply into the pelvis. Weight of the body grows heavier. for the last final minute of our practice together, I want to see if you can focus fully on the diaphragm pelvic floor relationship. Connecting to that sensation once again. The downward and outward expansion. And with the exhale, that gentle inward and upward rise. The muscle functions better when they're allowed a break. They need to relax to allow that good flow of oxygen and blood flow, the nutrient supply. So keep on finding that release. Really nice. Now from here, you can keep your eyes closed as you begin to lift. If you need to, help your legs come together with the help of the hands. And it might be nice to window wipe just one last time. And then what we recommend is, if you have the time today, have a little lay back in Shavasana. Bring your body flat to the mat and give yourself at least 5 or 10 minutes, completely relaxing, no holding in the body, no focusing on the breath. It's a good chance for you to release, let go fully. Chance for your body to integrate and all the benefits from that yin practice to settle. Closing down the eyes. Hopefully you do have some time to let go and relax, but if not, thank you for making time for the practice. Carving out this time to give back to your pelvic floor, your entire body, and hopefully your mind too. This will be the end of the practice from me. Thank you so much. Once again, my name's Miki. It's been a joy guiding you through this pelvic floor release, and I hope to see you soon. Namaste.